Mr. Dollison, can you prove that it's safe to smoke?
John, you can't prove a negative. The facts about smoking is that no one knows the cause of cancer, no one knows the cause of heart disease. And the Nobel Prize has not been issued to Mr. White or to any of his anti-smoking mates for identifying the cause of cancer. What we do know is that there's a relationship between those people who smoke and the risks of certain diseases. And the appropriate answer to that is more research, and that's what we're doing about it. We're not standing up grandstanding like Mr. White is. The important thing here is to try and identify the cause of these diseases rather than emotional outbursts about 17 Victorians dying each day and things of that nature.
If your doctor said to you you're suffering from heart disease, would you stop smoking?
Well, that's a relationship between myself and my doctor.
Would you stop smoking?
Would depends what he's asking. You might ask me to stop giving up sex. You might ask me to do a whole range of things. That's a personal decision which I will take on.
He would certainly tell you to stop smoking. Would you stop smoking?
That's a personal decision between myself and my doctor.
But you don't know answer the question.
Well, it's a personal decision between myself and my doctor. That's something I'd have to make up my own mind on at the time, depending on the pleasure I got out of smoking, depending on the benefits and costs I thought from the activity.
What do you make of that, Mr. White?
As Minister for Health in Victoria, I wish to indicate that we have a major health problem before us. 17 Victorians a day are being killed by tobacco. The life insurance officers offer lower premiums for people who do not smoke. And the reason they do that...
They offer lower premiums for people who ride motorbikes and a whole range of things.
They offer lower premiums for people who do not smoke. And the reason they do that is because smoking causes premature death.
No, Mr. White, they do so because there is an association and it's called risk. And there is a risk in all sorts of different activities, be you a racing car driver, be you a certain person with certain genetic backgrounds. They're talking about risk. They're not talking about causality. There's a very subtle difference between the two.
What the life insurance officers are saying is that there is a risk in smoking. It causes premature death.
I've said to you at the outset of this interview that there is a relationship between the people who smoke and the risks of certain diseases. That's not causality. What is required is sensible research. And I quoted Japan.
Well, it's potentially dangerous to your health, is it?
Everything we do in life is potentially dangerous to our health, John. I quoted Japan, the highest incidence of smoking in the world, yet the lowest incidence of lung cancer and one of the longest life expectancy. What you're talking about here is diseases of old age, and you're trying to make an emotional campaign.
Mr. Dollison, you're having a good trot here.
Is smoking a potential risk to your health?
Look, can I just interpose here? Dangerous or not, Mr. White? Is there any reason why people...
Mr. White, on radio the other day, you said the key reasons why people smoke were peer pressure, parental smoking habits and socio-economic factors, and that's the results of research undertaken by the National Health and Medical Research Council, by the International Advertising Association, not advertising.
The whole thrust.
In fact, Mr. Morgan has just released a public opinion poll conducted over the last 3 days and asked members of the Victorian public, do you think that tobacco sponsorship will make you take up smoking? And 98% of non-smokers said no. There is no support for your legislation. There is no public support for your legislation. There is no public support for government interference in private matters.
Research can produce anything, and you know that.